Try to find a comfortable posture on your meditation chair or meditation cushion and sit down upright with your spine erect and your chest out. It should be an alert posture that does not promote sleepiness. And then for a few moments, you want to ease into that posture and relax all the small muscles in your body that are typically very tense, like the neck, your stomach, your shoulders that are often drawn upwards, and then all the small muscles in your face, around your eyes, your cheeks, your jaw. All those things are typically very tense from all the stress. And then for a while, try to actively breathe into your stomach and not into your chest, as that promotes unease, while stomach breathing promotes calm. And then, for just a while, sit there with no particular goal in mind, and just be in meditation and observe whatever arises in your mind, while your attention is anchored somewhere, for example at the breath, and you try to discern whatever is going on in the background, what is also there next to the breathing process. Maybe there are thoughts in the background, feelings, the noises of cars or the weather, chirping birds, loud neighbors, playing children, whatever there is. Try to remain with your attention on the breathing while discerning all the other things that go on in the background of experience, while never forgetting your breathing. That is mindfulness, non-forgetting of your anchor point. The Buddha compared it with a young mother who leaves her child alone for the first time. There will not be a single moment without thoughts of that child while she is not there. That is a kind of non-forgetfulness or recollectedness that we want to cultivate in order for us to see the background of experience very clearly, because that is where the nature is, where Dhamma is. After a while, once your mind got a bit calmer and stops jumping around too much, try to evaluate if there is any kind of unease. Maybe there is some discomfort in the body. Maybe your posture is not just right. There are pains in the back or the neck. Outside it is just too loud. The roommates have done something wrong. Maybe there are still dishes that are unwashed. Anything that bothers you. That type of being bothered by things is suffering. Suffering is not only the battlefield kind of pain that you experience. Suffering is any type of unease or non-peacefulness. Try to keep that in mind. So whenever there's something that is bugging you, then you experience dukkha, as the Buddha explained it. And this dukkha has so many aspects that are completely unknown to us, that when parts of the dukkha vanish, it feels like we have been wading through quicksand our entire life, like we have been buried alive, never knowing it. Once that type of suffering falls off, it is a huge moment of relief. And now, try to recognize what that type of dukkha originates from. What is the necessary condition for that dukkha to be there? What must be there? What can't it exist without? Is there an urge to change your situation in any way? Do you want to have it more comfortable, have more wealth, more friends, more fame, more money? Is there an urge to change the situation in whatever way? There is not a moment without it. This is what craving is. Whenever there is suffering in our experience, there is also always craving at the same time. However, the craving is more significant than the suffering. The suffering cannot exist without the craving. When there is no urge to change the situation for the better, then there is no suffering. How could there be any suffering when you are perfectly content the way it is? It is impossible. Those two things completely depend on each other. Yet they are so misunderstood. We have to be very self-honest to see if there's truly no craving present. Because if there was no craving, then we would be completely free from any type of potential for future suffering. But it does not stop there. Craving in itself is also a dependently arisen phenomena that cannot exist without other things. And now you want to ask yourself, into your mind, without rushing to an answer, just let the question be there unanswered. Urge your mind to just sit and watch and listen while not answering the question. What is feeling? Is there any feeling going on right now? Do I know what feeling is? Do I know what craving is? Can I know and see it in my mind? What does feeling do? What does a Buddha even mean by it when he says feeling? We always have some idea what we are designating with feeling, but most of the time it is not what the Buddha meant at all. The Buddha did not talk about feelings in the sense of mood, like elated or depressed, exalted, down, up, or anything like that. Neither are feelings emotions of the high-level kind like joy, or pity, or love, hate, lust, laziness, restlessness. All those things are emotions that are fully enclosed in what feeling truly is. Feeling is rather primal. The Buddha called it Vedana. Vedana is a hedonic kind of feeling. And that kind of feeling has only three possible states. It can be good, can be bad, or it can be neutral. Try to see if you can know the feeling. In your experience, there's always some feeling, and it is always pressuring you to act in a certain way. There is no moment for the unenlightened person that is free from feeling, from craving, and from dukkha. It is always there. As craving depends on feeling, and as there is always craving, there also must always be a feeling. Try to know that it is there. It has no position in space. It is just there, knowable. When you look into your mind, do you like the situation? Do you dislike the situation? Or are you indifferent towards it? That is very close to feeling. The Buddha explained that his teaching is for those people who are skilled in feeling, who know how to feel, so to speak. Once you fully understand what feeling really is, you become an arahant, It really is just an understanding. Once you fully know feeling, the gratification in it, the danger in it, and the escape from it, then you are free from it. The only reason we are not free from feeling or craving or dukkha is because of a misunderstanding of the 12 links of dependent origination. And whatever there is in this chain all relies on a misunderstanding, on avidya. We conceive, we view everything through the lenses of self-view. We don't know that it is there. We do not know that we misconceive. It is implicit. It is invisible. We cannot see it. We can't put our finger onto it. This is why the Buddha was such a genius. He discovered a way to remove something that he could not see in any way. It is invisible to him, and yet he found a way to overcome it forever and to teach it to other people. Again, try to see if you can find a feeling of good, bad, or neutral in your mind. You must know it. Your attention must rest somewhere. You cannot directly attend to a feeling. You can only know it as enduring there in the background. Once you get skilled at detecting that feeling and understand the relationship between craving and feeling and the relationship between self and craving, and then see the feeling as impermanent, as an arisen phenomena that is just there enduring, that you can't do, that is just there, no matter if you want to or not. If you see that sufficiently often and in great clarity, then the result will be right view or stream entry. Then you become one of the noble ones that the Buddha mentioned. Craving always exists in relation to a feeling. When there is a bad feeling, then we want to change it, we want to remove it, we want to replace it by a better feeling. When there is a good feeling, then it is not good enough, then we want more. We always want more, and hence we suffer. Even a good feeling is painful. It is just not as painful as a bad feeling. And when there is a neutral feeling, that is also painful. We must distract ourselves from it, otherwise we experience existential dread and anxiety. Most people cannot sit in a room for half an hour without distracting themselves. They are so intimidated by the neutral kind of feeling. They must do something about it, and that urge to do something about it is craving. We want the situation to change. We want the situation to be different, and hence we suffer. The self has only really one function. It is an agent that is there to remove the bad kinds of feelings, to make more pleasant feelings happen and less unpleasant feelings. When the feeling changes, the craving changes, and with the craving, whatever the self wants to do changes. Its objective exists only in relation to feeling. It is dependent on feeling. It is like the self is the shadow of your feelings, like a tree casts a shadow. When the tree changes, then also the shadow changes, and it is the same for self and craving and feeling. They are deeply intertwined. They cannot exist without each other. And once you learn to skillfully see feelings with wisdom, then you are rooted. And feelings cannot touch you anymore. They are still technically there as an aggregate, but they are no longer fit to be called feeling, as they cannot pressure you anymore. And the result will be peace. the most sublime kind possible. Because feelings are always painful. It is just that we always immediately act out of them, that we experience them as pleasant. Once we deny the mind, we're immediately going after an urge, after tanha. Then it reveals the pain that has always been there, but always ignored by us. Restrain your senses, even for a short while sitting in front of your favorite dish, or in front of the monitor, wanting to watch a series or a movie, playing a game. Once there is a strong urge, deny the mind, the object of your desires, and you will feel how painful it is and how you want to get up and get it. This is pain that is always ignored. It is mental pain, but it is still felt as painful. All our motivations are always rooted in trying to get rid of painful feelings. Once we see that our entire existence revolves around feelings, and yet those feelings are beyond our control, then the mind lets go. How could we own something that is utterly and completely beyond our control, does not listen to us, is completely indifferent to us? It is like screaming at the rain because we do not like the weather. Only a fool would do that, and the mind is a truth-seeking machine. Once you found the truth, once you found the knowledge, it cannot be undone again. Again, what is the feeling in this situation? Was it always just there? And now you were just looking at it? What is the right order? First, there is a feeling. It's always there, and your sense of self and the craving is secondary to that very feeling. It has always been like that. Yourself would be different if the feeling was different. The tanha would be different if the feeling was different. Everything would be different if the feeling would be different. And the feeling can only be changed indirectly, as we are already affected by wrong view. We misunderstand how it really is, and we cannot see our misunderstanding. It is implicit, it is invisible to us. We think we are right, but if we were truly right, we would not suffer. As enlightenment or liberation really is in knowledge. If we would really know what it is, we would be completely unable to suffer ever again. We don't have to undo the suffering from our experience. It simply does not arise anymore. There's no more craving. Once we are enlightened, once we reach right view, craving ceases to exist in almost all cases. Remain mindful of your feelings whenever you can. And when your wisdom is strong enough, and you understand the relationship between those things, one thing you believe to control, and one thing that is clearly outside of your control, yet it fully determines what you think you can control, then see it with wisdom, see it as impermanent. Uproot the ownership of that feeling. If you do that often enough, then the result must be the right view that the Buddha praised so much, with many similes. See the feeling as independently arisen, as already there. Once you see that with clarity and with wisdom, knowing and seeing, not just knowing intellectually, you must literally see it with your mind's eye. Once it happens, it must be a clear knowledge that it is impermanent, independently arisen, and not yours. When you see it in that way, you uproot the ownership of feeling, and as craving and self depend on that feeling, both things fade together with the ownership of that very feeling.